we need to talk about the corruption from within the Biden administration. And yes, this actually includes President Biden and the Biden administration itself, not Hunter Biden. I want to talk about this because this is a new report. Stuff is finally coming out and we will see what is actually going on. But again, I bring this up because this is not the first time we have seen anything like this. This has happened under multiple presidents, and my guess is this will not be the last time we see it either. Now, in a recent leak from the Prince of Saudi Arabia, he made it very obvious that the Biden administration was attempting to broker an oil production deal. Now, the hope was to lower gas prices within the United States right before the midterm election, because this report is coming out saying that this happened back in October. Now, we've heard about reports like this in the past, but there was no proof. Now, I guess we have proof. Because according to Republican Representative James Comer, he is saying that brokering a backdoor deal like this in order to sway the American people to vote for your party, well, that's illegal and it must be investigated. Now, I bring this up because this news is coming out pretty much the exact same time that President Biden is planning a virtual meeting this Thursday. He plans a virtual meeting this Thursday where he's going to discuss with oil and gas executives on ways that the United States, get this, can help support Ukrainian energy infrastructure, because he is worried that Russia is seeking to cut off Ukraine and all their energy supplies. Now, this is coming when we are pretty much coming into winter, which means people aren't going to have heat, they won't have electricity, and that's going to create a major problem. But President Biden is looking at oil and gas executives for options that he could pretty much put on the table. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's not great timing. Well, get this. Just today, a pair of energy industry groups filed a lawsuit against President Biden. Yes, they filed a lawsuit just today. They said that the Biden administration failed to comply with federal law that requires it to periodically auction off land for oil and gas drilling. Well, here's what we know. The Western Energy Alliance and the Petroleum Association of Wyoming, or PA, they are arguing that in this lawsuit that the Department of the Interior was in violation of the Mining Leasing Act, or the Mineral Leasing Act, which requires quarterly onshore oil and gas lease sales. Well, here's what the president of the Western Energy Alliance had to say. She says, oil and natural gas companies have nominated millions of acres in Wyoming and across the West that have yet to be offered for sale. Not only has the administration held only one set of lease sales in its first 2 years, but has now signaled that there will be no sales until second quarter of 2023, a full year later. Once a year does not equal quarterly. I think we can all agree on that. So obviously, we are not getting more oil by drilling here within the United States. And because of that, gas prices keep on going up. But this is not what the Biden administration needed right before the election. Because again, right before the election, we also saw that the 1 million barrels of oil being released from the Strategic Petroleum Reserves, well, that was going to end. So again, prices were expected to go up. However, they've been going down, which again, it's somewhat interesting how prices went down at just the right time. Well, here's what we know. The Biden administration had a plan. The reports out this week state that the Biden administration planned to broker a secret deal with Saudi Arabia in order to boost oil production. And all of this took place back in October of 2022. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics of what is currently being said, because again, that's what this investigation is going to be for. I don't want to come out here and just speculate that, oh, this is probably what happened. Now, we could do that, and I bet I'd be fairly close, but again, I do want to report the facts. And the fact as of right now, and this is according to the Bloomberg article from yesterday, it states, and I quote, Republicans on the House Committee on Oversight and Reform said they're investigating allegations in a New York Times article in October that officials at the State Department and National Security Council sought a clandestine deal with Saudi Arabia to increase OPEC Plus's production before the US midterm elections in November. Instead, in August, OPEC Plus announced it was slashing production in a blow to President Joe Biden. That's what was stated in the Bloomberg article. And I can tell you right now that, yes, President Biden was very shocked that OPEC Plus decided they were going to cut production. They're going to cut production by 2 million barrels of oil per day. That was major. That was announced back in August, but didn't actually take effect until November. That was exactly the exact same time that we stopped pulling 1 million barrels of oil out of our strategic petroleum reserves. But again, prices kept going down. My expectation, and according to multiple experts, again, I'm no expert, just a guy on YouTube, but experts say that there's going to be a lot of information that comes out, and it will probably shed some light as to how gas prices have dropped as opposed to going up. So again, it will be interesting. But according to one report, we are still buying a lot of Russian oil. However, we are buying oil that Russia sells to other countries. They repackage it and sell it back to the United States. And my guess is we're buying a lot of it. So we will see what happens with that. Now, all these reports that are coming out regarding gas prices and oil, they're big. And I say this is big because Republicans plan on taking a very broad look at the administration's energy policies, and they plan on doing this as soon as they take control of the House of Representatives starting in January. So we're going to see what happens very soon. We got about 1 month, and then hopefully we have some answers. Now, what I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way. I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. All you got to do is do two things. First off, go ahead and hit that like button in today's video. Second thing, click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. Now, here's the last thing I just want to tell you is once the House of Representatives is controlled by Republicans, we are going to get a lot of back and forth from Republicans and Democrats. Republicans are going to investigate President Biden and most likely all Democrats, and Democrats are obviously going to try to investigate Republicans as well. It's going to be a back and forth type of deal, but here's the thing. All this is going to matter. And the tough thing that for me personally, by doing all this research, I have to figure out what is the truth and what is not. Now, the reason why I didn't want to come on and talk about this the other day is because I still wanted to find out what's going on. Again, the same thing with this morning's video. I wanted to figure out what's going on. Didn't just want to come out here prematurely and talk about a story that we didn't have all the facts on. So again, as we get the facts on all this information, I promise I will bring you those facts as soon as possible. Again, all I ask is if, again, two things, hit that like button, click that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.